Alright, so after months of going back and forth with AronRa, he declined to do the debate with me. But I'm still getting some comments from people that I have, in proxy by the internet, gotten to know a little bit. This Sean Johnson guy, for example, did a little First Amendment audit in Pocatello, which I praised at first until he took the plea deal, and then it made no difference. You know, instead of fighting it, he took a plea deal. So I'm telling him that his criticism of me is about as effective as what he did in court in Pocatello trying to fight that violation of his First Amendment, where he conceded by taking a plea deal. And he says that doesn't relate to the topic at hand because he's trying to criticize me into believing evolution, I believe. And I'm telling him, listen, I'm no scientist and I'm no intellectual. I don't have a degree in science. I don't work in science. I never have. I never will. So criticizing me is going to be about as effective as challenging the state on a bunk criminal charge and then conceding and taking a plea deal. It's not going to be effective, especially if you don't think, I'm very knowledgeable. If you think that I'm not a person capable of grasping these concepts, then why continue to waste your time with me? There's got to be a better way, something better that you could do to change the world. Anyway, I said, let's see, disproving evolution, blah, blah, blah. I said, while disproving evolution was never my intention and has never been my goal in my life, I do believe I do a fine job debating that position. However, it would not be sincere if I did take that stand because, as I have stated, I agree with the facts presented on most of evolution. I know for sure that I would not have done as well on the subject as Ray Comfort. He gave some very interesting thoughts on that in his debate with AronRa. I would go as far as to say as Ray Comfort won that debate. With your implicit bias and lack of anything else but shitposting, I know you will disagree, but oh well. The arguments that I presented about abiogenesis blows AronRa out of the water, though. And it's slu2.com/abiogenesis. And I said, and not because of me, but because of amazing scientists that disputes AronRa's uneducated opinion on it. I mean, if you leave it up to me alone, I know nothing. Like you and Aaron, I am not in a lab doing the science. I am just observing it. But well-accredited scientist and Nobel Prize-winning chemist knocked the hell out of abiogenesis. So really, I have nothing to add to that debate. However, as a parent who has school-aged children, I am very concerned what is happening to our public education system and our serious loss of rank and test scores in the world. PC culture and lack of diverse teachings is effing up public education. That would be my main argument in a debate with AronRa. But I don't need to waste time on AronRa's word salad games to make a point. 75,000 people have saw my opinions on that, and I'm sure many more will continue to view it. And if you go to slu2.com/public education, you can see that. He says, Clovistar, your intellectual dishonesty is beyond reproach. I say ditto. Anyway, it was this one that I thought was interesting. Let me see if I can get this to work correctly. Okay, you think you can eschew how rigorous proven science of evolution... Oh, you think you can eschew the rigorously proven science of evolution simply because you cannot fathom how intelligence can magically, your words, poof into existence by itself, therefore God did it. The brain hurt is deep. The forehead slapping is like a brick falling from a 10-story building onto a marshmallow. And actually, that's not my point. I've actually made my point. If you go to slu2.com/Dawkins, I kind of replied to Dawkins, and he, at the end of the debate with Ben Stein in the movie Expelled, concedes that it's very possible that intelligent design is a plausible concept. I mean, you can watch his words yourself. You don't have to take my opinion for it. Just slu2.com/Dawkins. Anyway, I think you and I are having a failure to communicate. No, what I said is that I don't doubt most of evolution. However, great and well-accredited scientists have knocked this magical idea of abiogenesis out of the water. Again, it's all here at slu2.com/abiogenesis. And no, I do not think science has any better explanations for the origins of life. And yes, I do believe in a creator. And I say, but hey, if you were so well educated and such an amazing scientist to judge the credibility of Nobel Prize winning scientists like Dr. Richard Smalley, maybe you should take on the task of proving abiogenesis is the origins of life. So far, that has not been proven. For now, it's a magical myth with less credibility than the theory of creation. But be my guest. You won't make any difference commenting to someone like me, someone who you have no respect for and whom you think has no intellectual qualities. If I am what you say I am, then just like your court case in Pocatello, you are just wasting your time. Go make a real difference. He says, Clovis Star, the glaring issue is your penchant for conflating abiogenesis with evolution. Now you bring an entirely irrelevant subject into the conversation at hand. We have an agreement on certain political perimeters of police and ineffectual war on drugs in this country, and the increasing militarization of police in the USA. That is a different conversation to what we are currently discussing. However, I made sure to keep that subject compartmentalized and segregated to a different discussion thread. What bearing does that actually have regarding scientific methods and evidence of evolution of one species into another over millions of years? By the way, my lawyer stated that what I have done is opened awareness and a conversation of First Amendment rights in southern Utah, and I'm glad that I have at least done that. I said, as far as, this is from something else, he was attacking my words and way of speaking. I said, and as far as you attacking my way of words or logic, ha 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 ha, you do know that I don't claim to be some intellectual. Yet if you watch these people protesting at the Ark Museum, it's hilarious. AronRa's wife can't pronounce basic words, and she says she is a science teacher. And this reasoning is pretty silly too. And I'll show you those videos in just a second here at the end. If I was going around claiming to be an intellectual, but then displaying those kinds of arguments and that kind of reasoning against the opposing logic, then yes, I would have a reason to be embarrassed. But I'm not claiming those things, nor am I out protesting atheist conferences. You people make me laugh. So then I respond to his response. Clovis Star, the glaring issue is your penchant for conflating abiogenesis with evolution. I said conflating. So AronRa comes to my video and compares evolution with creation. I clarify since he didn't give much clarification, and I said evolution being the origins of species as according to Darwin. Now, if AronRa didn't mean to compare evolution to creation, or making that correlation of the two meaning the origins of life, he should have been more clear, as I show here. And I'll put a link in the description here. And now he says, I just quoted what he says about the court case. He says, I said, I am on topic. What I am saying is that you are coming to me trying to change my mind on topics that you say I am not educated on is about as helpful as you taking a plea deal on your court case. It's not making much difference. It's a topic that I am discussing. You may choose to believe that you changed something, but you did not. No one is out doing First Amendment audits, nor are they any safer to do it. The government won. You were tried and convicted for a crime. If you had beat that case, that would have been different. The law would have thought twice the next time they tried to violate someone's rights. But they violated your rights, and they won. So you are being about as effective here. You say I am an ignoramus, or you imply it, yet you are continuing to spend your time here with someone that you consider to be deficient in the ability to use logic. What difference do you expect to make? Here is a challenge for you, Sean. Go talk to James Torr. He has invited someone who understands evolution to come have lunch with him and explain it to him. And the Atheist Society have offered to pay for the lunch. Now, why is James Torr important? Well, he has over 500 peer-reviewed papers that he's published. He has over 100 patents. I spelt that wrong. Oops. Patent. Sorry about that. And he is a chemist that creates molecules ab initio, meaning that if anyone should be able to understand evolution / abiogenesis, he should. So go explain it to him. He doesn't get it. And I gave a link to Dr. James Torr, which I'll put in the description. Now, as far as my ability to speak or logic or even type, sometimes when I'm on this stupid little keyboard, I don't get things right and I type things wrong. But no, like I said, I'm not a scientist. That's not what I went to school for. It's not what I've done in my career. I was a system administrator for a large medical supply company. That was the pinnacle of my career, aside from the businesses that I've created. But it wasn't science. I wasn't in there doing science. I was doing engineering. So no, it's not my forte. But let me just explain what I would be embarrassed about if I was a scientist. Now, if you go, oh my God, these people. I'm going to pause it for a second and get to the
truth. I was going to make a commentary to go along with some of these atheist quotes, but they contradict themselves so much, I thought, why bother? I'll just let them speak for themselves. Check it out.
Now, on that first scene, you'll see AronRa there, and if you heard right, he was bragging about he was baptized and raised in Christianity, and he knows all this and that. He's using his credentials to talk about how fluent he is in Christianity. This is where AronRa will claim to be a Mormon to some people. It all depends on the audience, but for me, he was saying, no, I was never a Mormon. I mean, the lies and the word salad of these people is crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and continue.
The idea that you can teach kids creationism as a scientific fact.
If you're going to take the responsibility to make a curriculum and tell people to use it in their classrooms and use it at home to teach their children science, don't you have some kind of responsibility to verify whether it's accurate or not?
My daughter was 7 years old. She asked me, Daddy, which is the right religion? And I said, none of them. They're all wrong, including me.
Yeah, I would agree. AronRa is wrong.
Any faith beliefs are not out here against Christianity.
And they're dead wrong, scientifically, historically, ethically, morally, on every level.
We're not talking about Christian theology. We're not out here. We're not anti-Christian.
There is no truth to the Bible. I don't make assertions.
But that's an assertion, right?
No. One, we don't know that there's a God. Two, we don't have his word. It is dishonest to state as fact that which is not evidently true. Everything I say is backed by evidence. Most people are apathetic. They're not interested in science. They're not interested in finding out what is really true.
It isn't necessary to know a lot of truth.
I do not come from any presupposition.
Wait just a minute, I gotta rewind this. Wow, this was just said.
Not evidently true. Everything I say is backed by evidence. Most people are apathetic. They're not interested in science. They're not interested in finding out what is really true.
It isn't necessary to know a lot of truth.
I do not come from any...
Wait a minute, it's not necessary to know a lot of truth? What?
Presuppositions.
If there was any evidence of the supernatural, like let's just go ahead and say God, or special creation, there would be evidence of it. And if you found this evidence, you could discuss it, and it most likely will turn out to be something not supernatural at all. It'll turn out to be something natural.
From a religious perspective, you have a bias. Scientists, would you admit that you have a bias? No, we don't.
So if there was special creation of species, you would find evidence of it, and there would be some natural explanation for it.
It's not inconsistent at all, because the thoughts that we're presenting are thoughts based on evidence that can be tested against.
Theoretically, if there was a God, this God may be able to be explained with natural laws.
I do not have any presuppositions.
I'm not sure supernatural is such a squirrely word.
I do not have any presuppositions.
If he really exists, he or she, it really exists. And it's probably natural.
If it's dishonest, I would equate that as evil, yeah.
Supernatural is just this weird word, like paranormal.
I don't want to be deceived by incredulous people.
But I don't know if truth equals real.
What?
I'm a science teacher.
What?
Road science.
And that's what should be taught to students.
I think it's wrong that you take children who are not capable of really abstract and critical thinking, who are going to believe whatever their parents tell them, and teach them these things as fact.
If no amount of evidence is going to convince them that they're wrong.
You do realize that saying I have no presuppositions is a presupposition?
No, it's not.
Of course it is.
Well, of course it's not. He accused me of denying reason.
That to me is unconscionable. I can't pronounce it. Okay. Unscrupulous.
Wait a minute. These guys are telling me that I don't speak well. I'm not the science teacher. I'm not the guy teaching children in school. I'm not the guy that's using this kind of logic either. My God. If I was the guy out there protesting the atheist, conferences, and then I use this kind of logic or this kind of language or that kind of, standard of attacking people, then people could laugh at me. I would be happy with it if they did. That would be good if they did, because that shit right there was laughable. All right, deuces. I'm done with this conversation. I really have nothing more to add. You want to go and convince somebody that would make a difference in the world? If you want to convince somebody of abiogenesis or evolution, go talk to Dr. James Torr. The guy has over 100 patents and just below 500 peer-reviewed published papers. That guy creates molecules from abinitio. He is a chemist, and if anybody should know if abinitio is, or if abiogenesis is a possibility, or if it's correct, James Torr would know. He says that he'll pay for the lunch. You go and convince him. Convincing me isn't going to make any difference. Peace.